How's everyone doing, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, as you can tell from the title, this video is, I've woke up, right, and there's been a story on the Manchester Evening News about a guy called Peter Smith, who's 55, he's ex-forces, he's ex-army, and as you can tell from the story, just like, I'll put the link in the description below. This man, guys, severed his own penis, like literally, like severed it. Like he's got a lot of history of mental health problems. He tried, when he was in the police station, he tried to slash himself with a piece of plastic. He's landed at the prison, and they've given him a razor blade, and he's jammed the. You get like a prison razors have got like one blade. He's jammed it out there, and then he's used it to sever his penis, guys. It's not. There's nothing funny about it. You know what I mean? Like this, just imagine the pain and the bleeding and what's going through your mind to actually sever your own like penis. It's crazy, guys. And you know what? Unfortunately, it's indicative of what's taking place in prisons, guys. Not everyone's obviously like trying to sever their own penis, but you've got a lot of people that slash up and covered in excrement and slashing up, and you've got people that like they'll do little cuts, and then you've got people that are like trying to sever arteries and stuff. And what it's going to do, I'm going to use this story to try and gain, like raise awareness of mental health within prisons, because this man, by his son's own admission, he's not very well. He's not right. He's not well, and he should be in a psychiatric unit. Now, prisons are doubling up. For those that don't know, prisons are doubling up as mental health units and everything. There's a lot of people that go to prison that have got mental health problems now. When you get sentenced and stuff, they don't ask for a doctor's report and all this and a background report on the person from a medical perspective. You go to prison, your medical files from your doctors does not follow you into prison. Your doctors don't know you're in prison, so like I say, you go untreated, you go unmedicated, locked up, sustained periods of bang up. In Strangeways, you're talking 22 to 23 hour bang up. Reform and rehabilitation does not take place, guys. And the fact that he's laying there and he's got all this going through his head, and to the point that he's literally, I think from what his son said, he wasn't able to save his penis, which just, and then, do you know what, this took place on the 17th of July 2017, right? His son went on a visit earlier this week, and only then the family became aware, because he's gone to prison. When you go to prison, when you go to hospital, sorry, the prison don't ring your family and say, oh, he's gone to hospital. No, it's a security breach, isn't it? So he's gone to they battled for 26 hours to save his life and to save his penis. Obviously he's lost stupid amounts of blood in that time. It sounds like his penis he's been unable to save and stuff. It's been treated as a suicide attempt. And you know what the thing is as well, like, if you think that because he's in a cell with his penis hanging off and he's bleeding profusely, if you think that the screw on the wing just like rings an ambulance and an ambulance turns up at the prison, doesn't work like that, right? He's got to, what happens, right? You've got a chain of command within the prison system, right? So the prison officer that found him would have had to radio through to Oscar 1. Oscar 1's the duty governor, and then the governor will give permission to ring 999, and then obviously then the ambulance has got to get there, but then it doesn't just drive straight into the prison and that's it. They have to go. You've got security in place. It's a maximum security prison, so there's a delay getting into the prison, because obviously they've got to go through the checks and safety and everything to actually get into prison. Then they've got to get to the wing, and it's critical, guys. And like I say, unfortunately, self-harm is a big part of prison. I mean, self-harm is part of prison life, unfortunately. I mean, in the last year, statistics were revealed that self-harm's at an all-time high, 40,414 instances. Now, just put that into perspective, right? You got 86,000 plus in the prison system, right? 40,414 incidents of self-harm in prisons. That doesn't mean that 40,414 inmates have hurt themselves, because you get a lot of people that they carry on self-harming, like they're accountable for more than one incident, if you know what I mean. But Peter Smith, this guy's ex-forces, so that begs the question: has he got post-traumatic stress disorder? And like I say, why his family are up in arms about it, and looking rightfully so. But the thing is, the staff are not mentally health trained, and like I say, people are going to prison having never taken drugs with serious mental health problems, and then the chemically imbalanced in the brain, and then they're taking new psychoactive substances or other drugs. Now, I'm not saying that about Peter Smith. Peter Smith might not be touching any drug, but the truth is he's going unmedicated, isn't he, through his mental health problems and stuff. Being locked away 22, 23 hours a day has a detrimental effect on your mental health. And if you put someone with mental health problems and serious issues in a prison cell, it's a scary, scary thought, guys. How scared and how fearful and how frustrated and angry and like confused, right, must these prisoners be that have got these mental health problems that are in prison and stuff. It's beyond words, to be honest, guys. Like I say, I do interviews with the media and stuff, speaking out, trying to get prisoners' voices out there and stuff like that. Anyone that's got somebody in prison, right? If you speak to your loved one, if your loved one rings you from prison, or you go on a prison visit, right, and you always ask the question, is there anything gone on in the wing? Is there anything gone in the prison? Has somebody died? Who died? Has someone like tried to take their own life? Has somebody taken their own life, right? Get the name, get the cell numbers, get the wing that they was on, as much information as you can, and get that story, and then get it to your loved ones, and then get it to the media, and keep prisons in the spotlight, guys. The Ministry of Justice, guys, are battling down the hatches and stuff, and the silence from the MOJ is absolutely deafening. And we all have as prisoners are suffering in silence, guys, right? So are prisoners' families, and so are prison officers in many regards. But the thing is, my overall thingy of Strangeways is I didn't like the staff. I've actually spoken up for prison officers in recent interviews I've done, but I cannot speak well of Strangeways staff. They swap the personality for a set of keys, and you know what? I've seen them getting prisoners targeted, and you know what? The fact that they knew he was at risk of self-harm, right? In Forest Bank's a Cat B prison here in Salford, right? Now, if you've got a history of suicide attempts and stuff like that, the prison officers, normally they just hand you a razor and you just go back to your pan and you do what you're going to do, right? Like shave your head, shave your beard, whatever, right? But at Forest Bank, if you're like thinking, they'll actually come to your cell, give you a razor, and they'll stand there in your cell and they will watch you shave, and then they'll take the razor from you and they'll dispose of it in the razor blade bin or something. But this doesn't take place in Strangeways. The staff at Strangeways, right, could have been quite sadistic and evil and thought, you know what, I'll give you a razor blade, I want to see if you're going to do. He could have said, I'm going to slash up, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then they've still passed him the razor, because they might goad him and say, oh no, you're not going to do nothing, you're not going to do nothing. And the fact is, right, guys, I've seen suicide attempts, I've seen self-harm. It's shocking, guys. The things I've left prison, guys, but the things I've experienced in prison will never leave me. The staff are like 22, 23-hour bang up, man. It's just, there's no reform, there's no rehabilitation. People are going unmedicated, untreated, and undiagnosed, right? And some people choose to take illicit drugs on top of that. It's a dangerous, dangerous cocktail, guys. But this Peter Smith and his family, this guy, it's just a matter of time before he does it again. And they don't like being on suicide watch. If you're on suicide watch, right, an officer has got to sit outside your cell on a table, and he's got to keep constant observation on you. You've got to keep getting up every 2 minutes to look at you. They don't like doing it because it's what they see as a waste of time. Let me tell you guys, right, overseeing and watching someone that's got suicidal tendencies, right, keeping an eye on them to stop them committing suicide, right, there's no wasted time there at all. It could be the difference between life and death. Like I say, too many people, guys, are leaving prisons in body bags. People think that prisons are holiday camps and like Butlins with bars and it's all cushy and everything else. No, absolute rubbish, guys. Prisons are a place of hatred, death, despair and misery, right? And like I say, imagine, right, being level-headed going into prisons can be a scary prospect the first time, right? And prison affects you. No one's going to come out. I came out and did an interview about it, what it's like when you first go to prison, right, about nervous and scared and anxious, right? And I give an honest account, right? Too many people do this macho thing where it's like, nah, prison, yeah, don't bother me. Prison affects everybody differently, guys. But prison at one point or another will bring you to your knees. It fucks with your head. Prison messes with your head. And then if you add into the mix the mental health problems, then you add into the mix prison hooch, alcohol, like prison alcohol, known as hooch, or drugs or new psychoactive substances. It's a dangerous, dangerous cocktail, guys. And like I say, the prisons are overcrowded. There's not enough prison officers. they're overstretched, they're massively understaffed. You've got prisoners with severe mental health problems that are seeking suicide attempts, self-harm. Some people want to swap the emotional pain for physical pain. Prisons are not good places, guys. Like, anyone that does an interview or speaks and says, "Oh, prison's easy," you're talking out your ass, or you're talking out your ass. Prisons are miserable, horrible places. Death and despair and misery and suicidal thoughts are always present. They're ever present, right? And you get down, you get depressed, you might get angry. Some people smash themselves up, some people hit themselves in the face, some people slash up, some people string up where you hang yourself. What you see in prison, guys, is scary, man. The effect of prison has a detrimental effect on you, but also your mental health, and but your family, guys. His family, right? This Peter Smith's family, his son's called William, I believe. Just think about what the family's going through. He said on a visit, he said I couldn't stop crying. He said, "I've seen my dad like that. My dad's never cried in his life. He's never been like, he's made of stone," sort of thing. And they both sat there on the visit crying and stuff. And the family will feel absolutely helpless and stuff. And you know what, guys, like I say, the fact that I've got these vlogs and I do my interviews with the media and stuff, I want to try and raise awareness of this particular incident, but also mental health as a whole within prisons, because, like I say, prisons are there, guys, right? Surely the aim of prison is to reform you and to rehabilitate you so that you don't go back. Well, rehabilitation and reform are made up words, guys. It doesn't take place. And the prison system, guys, is beyond words, right? And yet the Ministry of Justice do absolutely nothing. Death and despair, guys, is round every corner, guys. You literally, like, someone might appear all right on the outside, but then when they get behind the door, you don't know, do you? Now, I don't know if this Peter Smith, I don't know if he's a single cell restriction, which means he has his own cell if he's high risk. I don't know if he's in a double. I'm not too sure. But if he's got mental health problems, one would lead to believe that he'd be in a single cell. Now, when you get on your buzzer in prison as an emergency buzzer and stuff, the screws like often ignore it because the buzzer's going off every 2 minutes. It drives them mad, and if they're doing paperwork and stuff, they might not even be in the office. But you're just locked away, guys. You're forgotten about, and it has a detrimental effect on your mental health. You've got all these things going on in your head and stuff, and then people seek suicide as a way out. I saw a kid throw himself off the landing at Forest Bank, guys. Literally, like, threw himself off. Screw caught him, grabbed his legs. He was holding onto the bars upside down, and then by holding his legs, and then he's fallen head first, guys, and his pants have come off in the officer's hands. He was start bolted naked from the waist down, and his head was just a mess. And yeah, it bothers me, man. I don't like, no one should leave prison in a body bag, guys. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of people slashing up because their head's all over and stuff. People with mental health problems, guys, right, should be in mental health units, right? Now, what they should do when it comes to sentencing, they should defer, they should put it back, right, and say, right, we're going to sentence you in a few weeks, but we want to get a proper, we want to get a background report on you from your doctor, and we want to get like a psychologist to give you the once over, right? And then take the psychologist or the doctor's findings into account and say, right, if they've got to go to prison because of the severity of the crime, right, then put them in a psychiatric unit, right? If they can be dealt with by a way of a community order, guys, is where you serve it in the community. You do community service and stuff, and you serve, like, you might be litter picking or gardening or picking up rubbish or working in a charity shop or something. If that's the better way to be and productive and stuff, that's the way that it should go. But guys, like, self-harm is part of prison life. Like, self-harm, suicide attempts, like, just, I don't want any jokes on the video because honestly I'm just like, it's disgusting, guys. Like, it's not, there's nothing funny about it. This is somebody's life, right? And what's that person going through? What is Peter Smith going through, guys, when he's sat there with his cock out and he's using a prison razor to cut through it? What's going through your head at that point? You know what I mean? It's not funny. There's nothing. It's not a laughing matter in any way, shape, or form. Prisoners, guys, are in prison. Yes, I know all the goody two shoes. Oh, he's in prison, so fuck him. Bad attitude to have, right, guys? Prisoners are people as well. There's a lot of good people in prison. I know that sounds crazy, but there are a lot of good people within the prison system. And my heart goes out to anyone that's got mental health problems that's in prison, because your sentence is like 3 times as bad as a normal sentence because your head's all over, and prison will affect your mental health in the long term for the worse. But yeah, I'm going to try and get in contact with this William Smith. If you see my video, please get in contact with me. I'd love to speak to you and find out what's going on with you, with your dad and everything. I hope to God he makes a full recovery. And guys, please, if you've got any stories from inside prison, run to the media. Get the stories, get the names, get as much information as you can, run to the media, because the Ministry of Justice try to stop the suffering getting out and stuff by keeping a lid on it, by disclosing. We do not discuss individual cases. That's why I do these interviews, that's why I do these vlogs. Alright guys, speak to you soon. Bye.